Welcome back to the Consult Centre podcast with me, your host, Ruth Wilkinson. Your podcast for all things in startup business, PR, digital, raising the awareness of your brand, featuring interviews with local and successful business owners, giving you the benefit of their help and advice. Enjoy the show. Well, welcome to the Consult Centre podcast. Thank you for joining us. I am back again with Andrew Finlay from Wildview Retreat. Andrew, hi, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well. It's great to see you again after such a long time. Really good to see you.
Thank you, Andrew. And of course, for people that are listening to this podcast and they probably can't determine, where are you beaming in from today?
I'm beaming in from the sunny Algarve, Portugal, from Wildview Retreat in Portugal, in the Algarve, yeah.
Some people may have heard of Wildview Retreat, some people may not have heard of Wildview Retreat, but for those people that may not have done, do you want to just summarize what is Wildview Retreat, both for an experience and a location?
Sure, yeah. So I'm the owner of Wildview Retreat. It's a health and wellness retreat center, I guess, but it's not really a center. It's more of a small place in the foothills of the Algarve mountains, which was an abandoned village that me and my wife have converted into an incredible location to run healthy retreats. I've been on a bit of a journey. I'm turning 44 next week, but about 10 years ago, I had a bit of an epiphany regarding my health when I realized that all the males on my father's side of the family tend to pop their clogs in their 40s and 50s. And I decided that that just wasn't going to sit with me very well. And I decided that I was going to really look into this. So I quit my job. I made a nuisance of myself at my corporate job in London and got made redundant, and then retrained at the College of Naturopathic Medicine as a nutritional therapist over 3 years. And now I specialize in epigenetics and nutrigenomics, looking at genetic predispositions and how we can up or down regulate our nutrition with diet and supplements to improve our outlook, basically. And I've done that on myself, and now I help clients do it. And I also, at that time, 10 years ago, I started to go on health retreats, and of course I didn't tell any of my friends. I knew they took the mick out of me, but as a middle-aged sort of 35-year-old man, I can't tell my friends about this. Is really uncool. But actually, the more I've been on them, the more I do it, the more I realize just how incredibly cool it is to take care of yourself. And number one, taking care of yourself so you can help other people is absolutely the way forward. So I started going on retreats myself and realized there was something significantly missing from the retreat experience. Okay, everybody comes home feeling phenomenal. Of course, you've had a week away from the booze, you've been doing yoga, you've been swimming in a pool, you've been walking in amazing mountains. But what was massively missing was the education in an informal way so that people can learn what to do, when to get home to improve their lives. So then I created this idea that I'd like to set up a retreat whereby all of the retreats are run by registered qualified nutritional therapists, providing really good advice and talks on nutrition and wellness, so that people go home armed with the tools and techniques to improve their lives. So hence Wildview Retreat.
Which is amazing, isn't it? Because what you're talking about there is it opens so many doors for so many people to experience something different. So they may be somebody who already has taken those steps perhaps in the past, but they are coming to Wildview Retreat for the ability to invest in themselves and take some time and have some time. But yeah, it could be somebody who hasn't necessarily got any of that knowledge or awareness, or wants to explore that knowledge and awareness. So they're able to also come. So there's almost an aspect of, this isn't you need to be super fit to come to Wildview Retreat, or you need to be juicing already to come to Wildview Retreat. Right. This is absolutely not that, is it? This is a welcoming space, regardless.
Oh, totally. I mean, go on a retreat, it takes a little bit of guts initially to book one, because you think it's going to be all these like fitness freaks and people do handstands and headstands, but absolutely it's not what we're about. Our demographic is general society, and we get all different ages and abilities, and more often than not, hardly any of them have done any yoga before in their lives, and certainly haven't done fitness for years. So we don't specialize in one particular area or activity, but the improving people's wellness and nutrition, and just basically having a good time and reconnecting with other human beings, because obviously that's been lost so massively in today's society, is a huge part of the healing and recovery experience. And I would say that it's for anybody really, because how many times have you been on holiday where you come back saying like, I need another holiday because you've drunk yourself silly and you've eaten all this heavy food? What's great about these holidays is that you kickstart your health, and it tends to put you on chapter 10 of your health journey, and you keep going with that for months and months and months and months afterwards. You just get fed with this fantastic sources of information that will help you. And it feels amazing from my point of view, because I get such a buzz out of helping other people. What you can do in 1 week with providing a platform for healthy lifestyle advice and nutrition talks is 20 times greater than what you could do in any nutritional therapy consultation I might have done on a one-to-one basis. So I thoroughly enjoy it, and it's an amazing experience.
So people then that may be listening to this, they may think, well, do I ever get any time on my own? What am I doing when I come to a retreat? Now, I happen to know that there's plenty of time for yourself. There is lying by the pool. There is taking a walk. But there are also other fitness driven or nutritional driven classes, aren't there?
That's it. Well, when you come on the retreat, I mean, the retreat has specifically been designed. Well, I found a location. It's an old abandoned village in the mountains, and I was looking for a specific place, because you clearly don't want to have a retreat next to a restaurant or a Burger King or a supermarket. So it's far enough away.
Or a massive wine bar.
Or exactly. Or Sainsbury's, which is spilling out that Danish pastry smell always. Clearly you want to be away from the temptations and distractions, so you can really concentrate on yourself. And it's amazing. We are in this wonderful place, and you can't see any other people or cars or anything for as far as the eye can see. Yet we're only 30 minutes from Faro Airport, so it's a really easy place to get to. But what's really important on retreat is basically almost like spoon feeding the wellness activities there, so people can pick and choose. I mean, people don't have to do anything. They can sit on the sun lounger all day if they really wanted to. But in the morning, as soon as you wake up, there's yoga classes and there's a fitness classes, guided walk. And so that people feel like the stuff that they would have normally been a real chore and an effort to do. So I can't be bothered to drive to that yoga class, or I can't bother to, or I should be doing the washing up. You don't have any of those distractions. It's just there for you to do, and it's really hard not to do it because it's just there. It keeps people busy, and then in the afternoon, which is when the sun typically is at its warmest, is time off for people to relax in a hammock, sun lounger by the pool, go for a walk, do what they want. And the relaxation, the resting time is a critical component of the retreat, because a lot of people come on the retreat exhausted, needing time to rest and sleep. And so the activity is important, but so is the rest and relaxation. So there's plenty of time for that, including massage as well with a massage therapist. And the best thing about the retreat is that after soup or dinner, depending on whether it's a vegetarian or juice fast retreat, the activity's over by 7:30, 8 o'clock at night, so it's bedtime at 9. So we're all in bed by 9. It's amazing. You get that full 8 hours sleep, which is so hard to get by in today's society.
And so just talking about that, it's a sense of people have got their own time and their own space, but also the number of guests that the retreat takes at any one time almost ensures that very nice community supportive feeling, doesn't it? It's not a big old commercial.
No, that's right. And that was something that was really important to me. So when I as I said, made a nuisance of myself at work to get made redundant, I actually went and volunteered on a whole load of retreats to find out how they worked well in a year before I set Wildview up. And I found that the pinch point of the perfect number of guests is a sort of around between sort of 15 and 22, 23. You wouldn't want any more than that, because it kind of feels like a Butlins holiday camp. And what I found to be the best experience is where you can form a small group of people that you get to know really, really well in the space of a couple of days. But then you don't have to speak to them if you don't want to. It's big enough place for you to sort of move away and have your own space. But I found that one of the most healing things for me, certainly as a young man going on a retreat, feeling so lonely in London and isolated, was just that ability to reconnect with other people. And so the group size is really, really important, because by the end of the week, you know everybody's name. You know them better than some of you, than you know your family at that point, because how disconnected have we come from our family and our friends these days? And so it feels wonderful to be able to do that. And I think the number of people is really, really important. You don't want too few that it's so by that it feels a bit weird, but then you don't want too many either, because it's important to have that space and the ability to talk to the right number of people.
So you have some beautiful facilities at Wildview Retreat. You really do.
Nothing to do with me.
No, you really do. And if you think about, you've got the most amazing views, but equally you've made the most of that. I mean, you've even got almost safari type tents that are lodged slightly into a fall away. You've got some beautiful things that are happening. So for people that might not know, almost a bit of a narrative tour.
What we have.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I said it's nothing to do with me, I certainly found a place and had the vision, and I knew what would be important in terms of a location. But my wife, Erika, certainly needs to take all of the credit for the interiors and how she has made the space feel so homely and comforting. You find a lot of retreats are either a bit dated or it's somebody's villa that's been converted into something. And the great thing about Wildview Retreat is it was an old abandoned village that's been customized specifically into a place to hold retreats. So every building that's been redeveloped is with that in mind. And so we have a world-class yoga studio, and it's something I'm particularly proud of, with 12-foot high floor to ceiling windows that roll all the way back so that you can go out onto the yoga deck, look out onto this stupendous mountain view looking straight out in front of you. It really is phenomenal. We're fully equipped with all modern equipment, the yoga mats and the dumbbells and the fitness stuff. Then we also have an incredible infinity pool, which is has this wonderful beach effect. So it feels like you're just sort of walking in off a beach, and then there's the infinity side, which feels like you're sort of swimming over the side of a mountain. So that's amazing, and 360-degree views all the way around of these mountains, because the mountains here in Algarve are called Serra del Caldeirão, and Caldeirão stands for cauldron. It feels like you're in this soup cauldron bowl with nothing around. We also have a new log cabin sauna, which is from Finland. So there's a log cabin sauna, which is absolutely amazing. We have a couple of outdoor accommodations for people who don't want to spend as much as the ensuite rooms. And those are people who really want to immerse themselves in nature and get more of a nature experience. We have a yurt with beds in and electricity, and we have a couple of sort of African safari tents as well. So for me, I wanted to add those in because as a young man, when I used to go on retreats, I didn't really want to, go for the single occupancy option, which was super expensive. So I'd be quite happy with a tent. And so I wanted to try and ensure that our accommodation options captures all demographics, whether it be, a 25-year-old who's just started earning, or whether it be someone who can afford and wants a bit more luxury of a single occupancy super king room. So we can cater for all, and the program is the same for everybody in the week, or the 3 or 4 night mini detox breaks that we do. But the price point depends on the accommodation option that you stand for, whether you share with someone else or whether you go on your own.
And then you mentioned Erika, who has done the most incredible job of not just the interiors, but she's handcrafted door signs, and I mean she's done some amazing stuff. The room name, should I say? But also she was very committed, and you both were very early on, to make sure that this place was built using local skill and local materials, and you get your juicing in terms of your ingredients from local suppliers. So everything's very much supportive of that local community, and that's a big deal.
It is, and it feels nice to be able to do that. I mean, Erika, that's just in her blood. I mean, she's from Ecuador. She's worked with, and done a lot working with indigenous communities out there, and so she's very much from the grassroots up, and really sort of fully understands that. And for me, my background before I became a nutritional therapist is I have an environmental science degree and an oceanography, marine biology master's degree. So environment and protection environment and all of that is critically important. So, it's such a beautiful space here, and the environment is so pristine that there's no way we're going to come in and do something that was not sensitive to the local environment. And So I always had that in mind. And also, it's an area that really needed some investment around the local area, and to help local people, providing them with work has just been absolutely amazing. So all of the materials that we used were locally sourced, and all of the contractors that we used to make everything were locals, who did everything. So, for example, all of the wooden furniture, the benches, the seats, the beds, all handmade by the local carpenters in the town, Salbrasto Portel. And we were particularly proud of that. And again, Erika twisted my arm and convinced me to spend a little bit extra on those little fine touches, which as a man, I probably would have just popped down a B&Q. So I'm super glad that she made me do that, because it does look amazing. So thank you, Erika.
So it does look amazing. And then you've also taken that a step further in terms of its eco credentials, the sustainability of the site. That's a very, I mean, I know you'd be very committed to that, but if we think about the eco statement plus the looking at sustainability, so water and showers, and I mean, I know that's caused you a few trials and tribulations during the
well, actually, it's interesting living in the Algarve compared to when you live in Britain. You really do feel firsthand the sensitivities to the resources and the scarcity of them. Of course, in Britain, you just turn on a tap or turn on a switch. You don't ever really see the source of how it gets to you, and so you just end up sort of exploiting it and taking advantage of it really without really realizing. Living here in the Algarve, it's essentially off-grid, even though we do have electrical supply, but we needed to boost that with a 32 panel 10 kV volts solar panel system to get a lot of energy from the sun. And also our water, it comes from the local village well, and also a borehole underground tapping into aquifers. So, these are scarce, well, not the sun, but certainly the water, scarce resources. So we certainly have learned how important that is. And that's a really big part of our retreat experiences, that whilst we don't insist on it, we try and encourage our guests just to remind them of resource use. And what we find is that most people have moved on from the Hilton type experience where you use a towel every 5 seconds, and are more than happy to use a towel for a couple of days before they replenish it. And we find that because of the ethos of the place and because of the way they feel when they come in and the atmosphere of the place, and everyone jumps on board with it. But certainly comfort is critically important, but within the context of sustainability.
Absolutely. So my last part, just to mention, is the juicing. So some people will come for the juicing alone. I know you have varied, you have different, you've done before now, you've done kind of vegetarian, vegan type themed as well, but some of the myths that people have around, I will never be able to last on 3 juices or 4 juices in the soup, and oh my God, how am I going to do this? Just can we touch on that briefly, if anyone is listening and thinks we'll be able to do that?
It's incredible, really, because the first time I went on a retreat, I didn't realize it was juicing. I booked it because it was a retreat away. I hadn't really clocked that it was a juicing one where you just drink juice. And I just thought, I was 35 years old. I was into my pizzas at the time, and my burgers and my football and all these things that I've obviously don't do so much of anymore. And when I got there, I was, oh my God, how the hell am I going to survive on 3 cups of juice a day? I'm going to die. And I remember this one guy just said to me, Andrew, just keep an open mind. And that's this guy who'd done it before. He was a huge guy. And I thought, if he can do that, surely I can. And what was absolutely fascinating is that most of the time, when we're hungry and have need of something, we're actually nutrient deficient, not calorie deficient. So if you flood your body, whether it be with the food or with a juice or whatever, with lots of balanced nutrients, then you're going to be sustained. And so with the juicing, it's incredible. You actually find that you can be mentally hungry because you've spent 50 years of your life tailoring your mind to eating at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then again at lunchtime, and then again in the evening, and snacking. And so you mentally think you might be hungry, but actually you really sort of tune into yourself. And am I actually physically hungry here? And more often than you're not. And when you are, you do think you're going to be hungry, there's another juice available in 2 hours time, or a yoga class to distract you. So what we actually find is that by the 3rd day, people are actually turning down their afternoon juice if they're on a detox week and would rather not have it because they don't feel the need for it, because they're actually getting bucket loads of nutrients in these diverse range of juices that they're getting on a daily basis, and no one ever feels hungry. It's remarkable. But then if you know about the science behind it, it's not remarkable. And what I love about those juicing weeks is that, yeah, people lose weight, which is what some people's goals are, but it's not my goal in educating people. It's about the health benefits of detoxing for a week and intermittent fasting, which is essentially what it is, whereby you lower your blood pressure, you lower your blood glucose, you lower your inflammation, you lower all your cholesterol levels, and by the end of the week, you feel like you've taken 10 years off.
I feel like absolutely. Yeah, and I think that's the feeling that remains with somebody. That's a very different feeling than coming home from a holiday and think, I've overeaten, I've drank too much, I've not had enough sleep, I've burnt the candle at both ends. Absolutely, it's an investment in your future well-being, isn't it? Without question.
Totally.
Yeah,
I love them to bits, and the exciting thing is as we're now evolving, we've been around for a couple of years, we're now going to start put on more exciting and interesting retreats moving into 2022, where we're going to be expanding and doing ketogenic retreats. We're going to be doing retreats that target more men, so sort of wild retreats, and then sort of slipping in a few talks about the prostate without them realizing, so I just think that it's a perfect space to come and have a wonderful week away, where you can get on board with wonderful activities that you can really enjoy. And if we throw a little bit of health in there without it being too preachy, then what's not to win, really? It's really a fantastic space, and I'm looking forward to get starting again after this terrible year we've had with the COVID. But we're starting again on May the 22nd and May the 29th with a vegetarian food retreat and a juice food retreat, and can't wait to get going again. Really can't.
So on that point, if anybody has listened to this podcast and thinks, I'm going to find out what this is all about, I know if we put Wellview Retreat, they can find you on Instagram, they can find you on Facebook. But in terms of looking at the schedule and what's coming up ahead, can you give us the website address so people can visit there?
Yeah, sure. It's www.wildviewretreat.com. And along the top on the menu bar, you'll see about, where you can see the accommodation styles. You can see the different team, all the different yoga teachers and nutritional therapists that we employ who come and run the retreats. You can see a page about the restoration, how me and Erika rebuilt this place and turned it into the retreats. And also there's the book section where you can see the schedule of all the different weeks that we have on offer. And there's also we're introducing 3 and 4 night mini detox breaks in June. People who are busy and can't get away for the week. We find that the week is the best retreat to come on because you really do get the benefit after 6 or 7 days. But 3 and 4 night one is still an amazing experience and great to get away if you don't have the time. And the prices are on there as well as all the reviews. So it's amazing. We've only been open a couple of years. We've got over 100 5-star reviews on TripAdvisor, Google. Amazing. And we were also voted the top 10 retreats in our first year by the Guardian. So and featured in actually more than one national press. Actually, there was a number of bits of coverage in more than one national press. Yeah, that's right. The Telegraph too, and a few others. So it's been amazing. Really, we really are. We feel very blessed. And I feel like having had that sort of family experience of my father dying at an early age and my grandfather, I really do have that sense of passion and motivation inside me to help other people and help myself initially, and then other people, provide a space for people to do that. So the nutrition side of it and the wellness side of it is a key component. And if you combine that with a beautiful place to have a holiday, it's a really wonderful winning formula. It's a beautiful opportunity. Well, thank you very much for joining us, and I really do appreciate you spending the time with us. And then let's hope that it's a busy and fulfilling year ahead. Thank you so much, Ruth. I really appreciate the opportunity to talk to your followers, and good luck with everything else for this year. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thanks for listening, and we hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you'd like to hear more from us in the future, why not subscribe on your favourite podcast platform? If you'd like to be featured in one of our podcast interviews, then why not contact us? You can search us across social media as The Consult Centre, or contact us hello@theconsultcentre.com. Bye for now.